Good afternoon, everyone. As Chelsea said, my name is Annie Dorr. I'm with the Illinois Department of Commerce, and I want to welcome everyone to today's webinar. Um, Whenever an organization is doing a mass layoff like is happening at Chicago Public Schools, one of the things they do is notify the state government what's happening, and that triggers a series of events. One of the things that happens is what we call our rapid response team kicks into gear. And we are mandated to get information to those who are impacted by a layoff to let them know about benefits and services that are available to them as a result of their layoff. When you are laid off, what we, in our terminology, call you as a dislocated worker. And so what we're hoping to do today is to give you information and resources to dislocated workers that are going to assist you in getting back to the workforce as quickly as possible. So with me to do that as part of the rapid response team is Trina Watley. Trina is a representative from the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, which is the primary agency that we fund within Cook County to handle what we call workforce development activities. So she's going to talk to you about specifically what her agency does, and then we will switch gears and turn it over to Jeffrey Routier, who will talk with you about unemployment insurance benefits. And I think Chelsea probably mentioned already, if you have any questions or anything as we go through the presentations today, feel free to put them in the chat pod there and we'll address them as we go. Let me go ahead and turn it over to Trina.
Thank you so much, Annie. Again, I'm Trina Watley from the Chicago Workforce Partnership, and we are the second largest workforce investment area in the country. We actually are the public workforce system for Cook County. We administer over $50 million in federal grant funds. So the services that are available to you as dislocated workers are federal funds that are available, made possible through tax dollars. And we have over 49 agencies that we fund to do the work to assist job seekers to find employment and skills training opportunities. We serve approximately 140,000 people a year, closer now to 150,000. And not only do we work with job seekers, but we also work with businesses to help them to meet their needs. And we are very pleased with the results that we have received with matching employers with the skills and the talent in Cook County. And we also disseminate labor market information to individuals. And labor market information is just a way that we find out who is hiring throughout the region. Again, the goal of this seminar is to provide information and reemployment services to dislocated workers. You all are considered dislocated workers because you've been dislocated from your employment, and our goal is to help you to support and prepare to re-enter the workforce and also to seek skills training opportunities if that is your interest as well, because you may need or require new skills or an upgrade in skills to be most competitive in this current workforce arena. Oh, I'm sorry, skipped one. Okay, again, and that other file, PowerPoint, just showed what is a dislocated worker. And when companies are laid off in the state, they receive a notice through the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, then we are happy to come out and let you know again what services are available to you at no cost. One of the things how the Workforce Investment Opportunities Act can help in our workforce centers, we offer computers if you need computers to help with your job search, because a job search does require a great deal of work and some resources and tools. So in our workforce centers, we provide computers, phones, fax machines, copiers, again, at no cost. We also, if you go into one of our workforce centers, they may do an intake or have an orientation session, and to help you to work one-on-one with your job search. You can work with an employment specialist. We can show you the list of certified training providers that are approved to use your funds, and also can answer basic questions on unemployment insurance filing, and offer different hiring events or let you know where you can go and where's the best place for your skills to meet up with certain employers. And all of these skills are, again, at one of our resource centers. Career counseling is very important. Job companies really look to us to help them to find people. They get inundated with individuals looking for employment. And then if you go into our workforce centers, we can assist with helping you to create the best possible resume and cover letter to showcase your skills. We will also look at how to best prepare for an interview. If you haven't interviewed in a while, the landscape has changed. We will introduce to you the most current methods of interviewing for success, and also looking at, if you're looking for a job in another location, and also looking at the opportunity for internships that are very important to help bridge that gap. The training services that may be available as well, using on-the-job training, whereas if you have a skill and you know of an employer and you don't exactly have all the skills that they're looking for, we may be able to offer them some monetary assistance to reimburse them for some of the wages called on-the-job training with that employer. If you have a business that you've always wanted to start, or you currently have a business and you may want additional funding, there is a entrepreneurial training program called the Self-Employment Training Program offered through the federal government. That information, if you're interested in that program, we have that available to you. But one thing that, because it is a national program and national dollars that are set aside, I would recommend that you go on and register for that now, and you can also complete some type of training or continue to look for employment, because it is a competitive process and a program that is national. Again, adult literacy services, if you are looking for some basic education such as a GED, or you just want some adult ed classes and literacy to help you to improve your skills, then we can do that as well. And then we also offer, again, customized training for employers. You will also find and be recommended to log on to Illinois Worknet, which is a state-funded website, and that portal has information for job seekers. It is a very comprehensive website that has a great deal of information on it to assist with your next step in gaining employment. If you go on that website, you can go on that website and click on where it says laid off worker, company specific information. And if you go on that laid off worker section, you will then find it's mostly coded in green. That's where we direct our laid off workers. And if you go in that section, you can look for your company logo, and you will find information that is specific to your company, everything that applies to you. It is very comprehensive and been very helpful according to a lot of individuals that we have worked to assist. And again, this slide shows you exactly where you can go, and you can look in Cook County, you can look by county to see where your company is located and the information available to you under that section. And I think that's my last slide. Are there any questions?
I don't think we had any questions come in, Trina, but everyone that got Trina's information, if you want to put any in the chat pod, she'll be here through Jeff's presentation as well, in case any come up that you didn't have yet.
And the one thing that I would definitely recommend is, as you download these materials, please keep a folder of all of your laid off worker information together. It may seem like a good bit of information today, but there'll come opportunities when you may need something and you can go back in your folder as you need it and as something comes to your mind and you remember that you had this information and look up our contact information. But it's important to keep all of this together, as well as I would recommend get a copy of your current job description and keep it in that file already because you will need that to update your resume.
Thanks. That's great information for them to have, Trina. Annie, if you want to go ahead and introduce Jeff.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks, Trina. Next, we have Jeffrey Roudier. I hope I'm saying that right, Jeff.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay. Um, he's going to talk to us about unemployment insurance benefits and the services that they offer at what most of us call the unemployment office. But here in Illinois, unemployment is actually administered by Jeff's agency, which is the Illinois Department of Employment Security, or IDES. So go ahead, Jeff.
And exactly as you said, it is a state-administered program. The money collected is from the employers. A lot of people think that it comes out of their checks, but it's actually an employer tax, and workers do not pay into the unemployment system. Okay. Now, this is a little bit complex to kind of explain, but we'll see what we can do here. But you must have paid at least $1,600 or more in your base period for insured work. So a base period is it's a year-long period, not a particular year period. And I'll show you, a picture in a minute, but that's the period that they're going to base your benefit amount on. So they're going to capture that amount. So at least 440 of your base period has to be has to be at least your second highest quarter. Your first highest quarter having to be more than 440. So let's say January, February, or March was 440, then say April, May, June, or one of the other quarters would have to be a little bit more than that, and at least equal 1,600 for you to be eligible. In this case, I don't think there would be a problem. Okay, so here's an example right here. It shows you, in this case, we're looking at July, August, or September 2015. The time period that it's going to take is April 1st, 2014 through March 31st, 2015. That's the period it's going to capture. And so any wages you made within that time period, that's what your weekly benefit amount and your max benefit amount will be based on. So also remember, though, that within that period, when I say your weekly benefit amount period, which would be from the Sunday of which you open your claim to a year from that point, you get 26 weeks of benefits. So within that 52-week time frame. So you can use it anytime you want, but it has to be within that 52-week period. So if you're working part-time here and there, you could use it staggered. Okay, here's an example of what your max benefit amount would be right here is 426. As of this year, 426 is the maximum benefit amount. If you have a spouse, it would be 507. And I can't make out the last thing on there. Let me look at my notes real quick. But with an individual with a child under 18 that you're claiming, it would be 580. And you can only claim one child. So and if your spouse is also on unemployment, they can only claim one child as well. So it would have to be a separate child if you're both collecting at the same time. So here again, as I said, the maximum weeks would be 26 weeks within that 1 year period. Okay, let's go to the next one. So you must be involuntarily unemployed or underemployed, so you can still work. It just has to be under that amount, whatever your weekly benefit amount. In this case, if it was 426, it'd have to be under that. Up to 50% of that, you would be able to get the whole amount of your weekly benefit amount. Everything over 50% of your weekly benefit amount, they would deduct dollar per dollar until you reached over your weekly benefit amount. Now, this information, it's kind of hard to talk about until you actually see your benefit amount in your statement, but it'll make more sense then. And we also have the online access available, as well as we have a customer service center. So it'll make more sense. So this is just like an intro. So Just bear with me. So you must be able and available and actively seeking work. So if you're in the hospital, you're obviously not able to work. If you're on vacation, an example would be you wouldn't be available to work for that week. And actively seeking work means that you have to, keep that work search record and make sure that you are actually looking for work within that week. So you have to have some kind of record of that. And one of the ways you keep that record is through Illinois Job Link. So because you have to complete the registration Illinois Job Link. Also with Illinois Job Link, it's a free service. It's free to you, free to the employers, so employers are more likely to put jobs in there. And also they can check your resumes to find potential candidates for certain jobs. So that's a good part of that situation right there. Now when it says you must serve 1 wait week, that means the first time you call, which is going to be every other week while you're collecting, it's going to be in a wait week, which is an administrative week, so the first check would be a 1-week check. But since you're certifying every 2 weeks, every other week after that would be a 2-week check. It's just that first check that's going to be a 1-week check. Okay, so now, sorry about that. So during the first week you become employed is when you want to file for benefits, because you're going to lose credit for weeks after that if you do not file within that time period. So if you get laid off this week and you didn't earn any wages this week, or if you earned under a certain amount, then I would recommend that you do open it this week, because you'll have to wait later, and you want to get credit, right as soon as you can. Here's the website, www.ids.illinois.gov. You can, it's available anytime. So this will definitely, you can go on there and you'll be able to look at all the information I gave you today, and it'll be more clear, and there'll be more examples on there. Also, you can call customer service. Hours are 8:30 to 5. Numbers 1-800-244-5631. Okay. Make sure that you have your Social Security number, Social Security card, and driver's license or state ID. If you are to go into the office, that information will be needed to file. But more than likely, you'll be able to do it on the computer, which should be a lot easier than actually going into the office and doing it. Also, you make sure you have names, addresses, phone numbers of all the employers you've worked for in the past 18 months. You also need the number of days worked for each employer and the reason for separation. Okay, so also you need to report information such as if you're collecting a pension, if you're receiving Social Security. Reasons are this can might be like a portion of it could be deducted from your weekly benefit amount, or the whole thing could. It just depends on how much Social Security you're collecting. So most cases that would be 50%, but it depends on the type as well. As far as your pension, it depends where the pension's from and at what point you started receiving that pension. And all this is going to be case by case, so just answer the questions, and if it needs to be reviewed, an issue will be put up and you will get information about a phone call. This is just the standard procedure for any pensions or Social Security. So you would talk to a live person and they would get the information from you, and then they would calculate your weekly benefit amount after the fact. Okay. If claiming your spouse as a dependent, you definitely need their name, employment status, and Social Security card. Same thing with the child. You would need to have their Social Security information. After your claim is filed, you're going to get the statement in the mail, and that's going to clarify all the information, like how much you earned within the quarters that they're looking at. It's going to tell you your weekly benefit amount and your max benefit amount. Your max benefit amount is basically your weekly benefit amount times 26, because that's the entirety of what you could receive during that 52-week period. Okay. You're going to receive a debit card automatically in the mail, but you can choose to do direct deposit, which I would highly recommend. In that case, you would just not use your debit card at all. You just receive it. You wouldn't have to get it set up or anything like that. But I do recommend that you would use your direct deposit. It's a lot easier. Okay, your first certification date, you cannot receive benefits for a week of unemployment until you have certified. So if you're not doing your certification, whether on the computer or through teleserve, you'll receive no benefit amount, because some people think it's automatic. It's not, because you have to answer questions every other week about your employment status, and it's the same questions every week. Okay. Benefits are paid for calendar weeks of unemployment. A calendar week begins on Sunday and ends on Saturday. So if you were to open your claim today, it would start retro to this Sunday. So this Sunday would be the 23rd. And then it would end a year from that point. But mind you, if you use the 26 weeks within that time period, it would be exhausted. But you do have until a year from the beginning of your benefit year. Okay. Okay, once you file for unemployment insurance at a local IDS office, you must certify, like I stated before, and you will not be paid until afterwards. This is the best way to certify right here. You want to go to www.ids.illinois.gov. Like I said, it's going to walk you through it. So this is just a kind of general information, but once you do it, it's going to make a lot more sense, and you're also going to have to print out the information, and that's just going to reestablish what I'm saying right now about the certifications and keeping your work search record. So definitely read everything, make sure you understand it, and if you do have any questions, you can definitely call the customer service. If for some reason you don't have a computer, you can always use the teleserve, and here's the number for the teleserve. It's 1-312-338-IDES or 4337, and that's available from 5 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. And you would call that, and you would certify on your certification dates, which will also be on your statement that you receive. Okay. During each week, you must be willing, ready, and able and available for work, and we went over that. Able means you have to be able-bodied. Available means you have to be, like I said, if you're on vacation or if you're out of town for, an emergency or something, that you would not be available for that week. Okay. Report any unavailable days when you certify. So, that's on you. We can audit that, but for the most part, it's basically on your word. So make sure you do report that. In the law states that you must actively be seeking work. So keep a work search record, keep a physical copy, and there's going to be room for you on Illinois Job Link to do one as well. So that's really important. I would keep that a year after the fact, just in case they ever try to audit your information, make sure that you're actually looking for work. And this is going to go over that too. So you're going to keep that information, and I would recommend at least, documenting at least 3 employers you went to each week. There's no specific amount, but obviously the more the better, but you do want to have that record in there because they could say you were not actively seeking work for the weeks in question. So that is very important. I'm going to go over partial benefits right now. You can, like I said, you can work part-time, but if you do earn over 50% of your weekly benefit amount, in this case, if it was $436, so if you earn maybe $218 for that week, it would deduct dollar per dollar. So you just if you do the math, you'd see you get $1 less for each dollar you earn over that amount. And if you do earn over that amount, if it does exceed that, the complete weekly benefit amount, it'll stop it for that week because the system will think you went back to work. In that case, you'd have to open an additional claim after the fact. And this is what it states right here, so I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself. But if your wages are equal or greater than your weekly benefit amount, your wage deduction will eliminate your benefit for that week. And also mind you, when I'm talking about weekly benefit amount, it does not include your dependent amount. So the weekly benefit amount is based just on that, what I stated, like your weekly benefit amount. So dependency amount would not be included in that. But you will not receive a dependent amount if you are not eligible for your weekly benefit amount for that week as well. Okay. And as I stated before, you will receive a debit card regardless, but you can opt out of that. When you do your certifications, usually your payment will be available 2 to 3 business days after the date of certification. And unemployment insurance benefits are subject to state and federal income taxes. You will have the option to either take the taxes out or pay them later. Okay. This is what we had kind of talked about before is WIA. So I'm not going to really go over that again in OJT. But it's definitely important to reiterate that, to do that as soon as possible so that you can get going with that. And last but not least, here's the information. Like I said, you know, you're not going to remember everything I said, and a lot of it's not going to make sense right away. But if you do go online to the IDS website, it's going to help you with that information, and it's going to break it down for you point by point. Here's the link to Illinois Job Link, and Illinois Job Link is, I would say it's like a career builder or monster.com, except it's free to the employers, as I stated before. So, and they can also do resume searches. And everyone must register with Illinois Job Link, and you want to put an active resume in there as well. You can create more than one resume if you're looking for more than one type of work, but that is definitely a requirement, is that you have an active resume in Illinois Job Link. So failure to register could delay or stop your payments. Okay, and it's available anytime, just like a lot of websites, so you can use it 24/7. And here's some, if you have any questions about it, you can definitely go to the IDS site, and here's the information right here for you at the bottom. All right, that's all I have on the Illinois Job Link. So if anybody has any questions about it, I know if you have never collected before, it's a little hard to grasp at first some of the concepts, but like the weekly benefit amount. But that'll all make more sense once you get your personal statement. And all you really want to do is just verify the wages and make sure they're the correct wages. So, is there any other questions for me?
We didn't have any questions come in, Jeff, but thank you very much for all that helpful information for everyone.
Oh, no problem.
And thank you everyone for participating. We were recording this session, so we'll make sure to post this on your CPS, Chicago Public Schools layoff page in Illinois Worknet, along with the materials that were covered today. Annie, do you have any closing remarks?
Well, I just wanted to thank everyone for participating today. If you have coworkers that you think might be interested in this information, definitely direct them to the Illinois Worknet site, and the CPS page will continue to update the message boards there, you know, as information becomes available. And again, thank you for joining us.